Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to break down the APPSC Degree Lecturer Computer Science previous paper of the year 2016 paper 2. There are actually 150 questions. So we have already covered the first 70 questions in part 1 and these 70 questions we are covering in the part 2. I will explain concepts in simple terms and provide tips and tricks to help you in the exam. So whether you are a beginner or an experienced one, this video is for you. So let's start the video. 76 questions. So which of the file directory structures support effective sharing of files? So here the correct answer is acyclic graph directories. Acyclic graph directories allow a file to exist in multiple locations without duplication. Tree structures allow only hierarchical access, whereas the acyclic graphs enable better sharing between the users. Which of the following is a solution for external fragmentation of disk space during contiguous file allocation? The answer is a compaction. So compaction is the solution for the external fragmentation. Next one. Which of the following can be used to prevent improper authentication due to password exposure? That is the one-time password. A one-time password is a unique password that is valid for only one login section or one transaction. Unlike regular password, OTP cannot be reused. So even if exposed to someone also, it cannot be used for future authentication. For suppose when logging into a banking app, you receive an OTP on your mobile, which ensures secure authentication. Next. Which of the following page replacement algorithms result in minimum page fault frequency for a given number of frames? So here the correct answer is optimal page replacement. Page replacement algorithms are used in OS to decide which memory page to remove when a new page needs to be loaded. The optimal page replacement algorithm removes the page that will not be used for the longest period in the future, reducing page fault. However, it is theoretical since predicting the future is not always possible. The network topology with the highest reliability is. So it is a mesh topology. In a mesh topology, every device is connected to every other device. If one connection fails, data can be sent through another path, making it highly reliable. So what is the drawback here? It is expensive due to many connections. Since every device is connected to every other device, so there are so many connections here. Next one. In sliding window flow control for network traffic, if window size is 31, then the range of sequence number is. The sliding window protocol controls data transmission in TCP. The window size determines how many packets can be sent before waiting for an acknowledgement. If window size is equal to n, the sequence number range is 0 to n. So that's why answer is 0 to 31. So next question. Repeaters are used in. So repeaters are used in the physical layer. A repeater is a network device that regenerates signals to extend the distance of communication. Since it deals with signals, it operates at the physical layer of the OSI model. End-to-end connectivity is provided from host to host in the. So it is end-to-end means it will be provided in the transport layer. The transport layer ensures end-to-end communication between devices. It is responsible for reliable data transfer, error correction, and flow control. Next. Encryption and decryption of data is performed in. So it is performed in the presentation layer. So in the previous questions papers also I have discussed that. So many questions are asked from the OSI model functions and what are the protocols used in the OSI model and what are the devices that are used in the OSI model. Right. So these type of similar questions are asked frequently in the past exam. So go through that concepts very well. So encryption and decryption of data. So the presentation layer handles the data encryption, compression and translation. It ensures data security and format compatibility between different systems. For example, SSL or TLS encryption. Which of the following uses UDP as a transport protocol? That is a DNS. UDP, User Datagram Protocol, is a connectionless faster protocol than TCP used for real-time applications. Domain name system uses UDP because it needs fast, small queries without overhead. How many ASCII characters can be transmitted per second over a 2400 bits per second line if the transfer is asynchronous with the start and stop bits in addition to parity bits with each character? So here for the given question you have to write out 2400 by 10 bits. So here given that the ASCII characters, how many ASCII characters can be transmitted per second over a line of 2400 bits per second. So 2400 by so since the transfer is through the asynchronous channel, so we have to include the start and stop bits here. That means ASCII character is 8 plus 1 plus 1. So that means 10, total 10 characters. So 2400 by 10, that equals to 240. So option 2 is the correct answer. Which of the following refers to the feature of TCP that upon receiving a packet, the receiver hooks the acknowledge to the next outgoing packet instead of sending acknowledge as a new packet. So it is called as a piggybacking. So here, for suppose if a sender is sending some packets to the receiver, so after receiving the packet here, the receiver will send an acknowledgement here. So it is a packet and acknowledge. Like that, for each message it will send an acknowledgement. Right. For each packet it will send an acknowledgement. So if you are transmitting like this, then it will take a lot of transmission time. So there is a delay in transmission. So that's why instead of sending the acknowledgement separately, so we are hooking the acknowledgement to the next packet that we are sending. Okay. So instead of transmitting it to the receiver, so we are adding that to the next packet that is sent by the receiver. Suppose the receiver is sending a packet P, so then we are adding the acknowledgement to that one, and then sending the acknowledgement of the first packet with the message. Okay, so like that we are transmitting the messages. So that process is called as a piggybacking method. Next, in the slow start phase of the TCP congestion control algorithm, the size of the congestion window is, so it increases exponentially. TCP slow start is a phase where the congestion window size doubles each round trip time. If the initial congestion window is 1, after round trip time it becomes 2, then 4, then 8. That is, there is an exponential growth here. This helps quickly utilize the bandwidth but can lead to congestion collapse. Which of the following is not a client-server application? That is the internet. It is a ping. Pinging is not a client-server application. So why do we use the ping command? So we use the ping command to find out whether our system is connected to the internet or not. Consider the probabilistic random routing for a packet switching network. Which of the following is its advantage over the other non-adaptive routing algorithms? So it provides good traffic distribution along the link. So this is the correct answer. Next one, manage the following. Given the different software process models here and the features of that particular model, we have to manage these two things. So here the correct answer for waterfall model is D, that is the inflexible partitioning of the project into stages. So we know that waterfall is a rigid one phase that completes before moving to the next. It completes the first stage completely before moving to the next. Next one is the evolutionary model. So evolutionary model develops in small increments. So that's why the answer is A here. So for the evolutionary model, the answer is specifications can be developed incrementally. Whereas for C, it is a D. The next one, component-based model. Component-based reuses the software components. So that's why the correct answer is B. Explicitly, it requires the answer is C, right? C for S for C. So for component-based model, requirements compromises are inevitable, and for spiral model, it explicitly addresses the process of risk during the development. Next one. Consider a module M, which is a serial integration of two submodules A and B, having cyclomatic complexities of 10 and 8 respectively. What is the cyclomatic complexity of the integrated module M? So we know that the formula for the cyclomatic complexity is equals to edges minus nodes plus 2. So this is the formula for cyclomatic complexity. When two modules are combined, their complexity adds up with one extra edge. Okay, so here we are combining two modules. So that is CCA, cyclomatic complexity of module A. Let the first module be A and the another module be B. So their complexity will add up with one extra edge. Okay, so cyclomatic complexity of M equals to cyclomatic complexity of A plus cyclomatic complexity of B plus 1. So that is so what is the complexity of A? So A is 10, 10 plus 8 plus 1. That is equals to 19. So here the correct answer is 19, not 17. So here the higher the cyclomatic complexity, the code will be more complex and it will be harder to test and maintain also. The next one, which of the following approaches is generally applied for module design phase while developing new software? That is a top-down approach. So in top-down approach, we start with the highest level module and divide into smaller sub-modules. It is used in the structured programming. For example, designing a website. If you want to design a website, first you have to define the overall layout, then break it into some sections like a header, body and footer. Whereas in the case of bottom-up approach, it starts with the small components and builds up. Let various levels of cohesion of software modules be denoted by C, T, S and F as given below. C stands for coincidental, F stands for functional, S for sequential and T for temporal. Which of the following ordered tuples represent correct ordering from weakest to strongest level of cohesion? So here the correct answer is option 2. CTSF. So here the C stands for communicational cohesion. Modules operate on the same data. So here the modules will operate on the same data. Next, temporal cohesion. So temporal cohesion means tasks executed together in time but not related. And sequential cohesion. Sequential means output of one function is input to another. And functional cohesion. So this module performs a single well-defined function. So if the cohesion is higher, then it will lead to a better software design. In the context of object-oriented software design, Which of the following consequences of use of inheritance is disadvantageous? So that is the increased coupling between the classes. So we know that in inheritance allows code reuse but also increases the coupling. If one class changes, all the dependent subclasses are also affected. So the better alternative is composition over inheritance. That means using objects instead of extending classes. Which of the following software development process is not necessarily useful for developing software for automating an existing manual system for a client? So answer is prototyping. Prototyping involves creating quick temporary models of software for user feedback, not suitable for replacing a well-established manual system. For example, if a company moves from paper records to a digital database, waterfall or agile is better than prototyping. Which of the following is not the characteristic of a good software requirement specification? It is a short size of code. A good SRS should have completeness, verifiability, modifiability. Short size of code is irrelevant because SRS is a document but not code. Which of the following is not a recognized software project type under COCOMO model? So that one detached. So detached is not a valid category. So we have three types of it. Classifies the project into three types. It is organic, semi-detached, and embedded. In software development, UML diagrams are used during. So it is used during all the phases. That is analysis, design, and integration phases. Which of the following techniques are used for selection of test cases during structural testing? So the answer is data flow based testing. Data flow based testing helps to find improper variable usage and memory leaks, whereas structural testing focuses on internal code logic. Which metric represents the expected lifetime of a software system? So that is the mean time to failure. Which of the following operations are generally used for transforming plain text to cipher? So answer is substitution and transposition. So substitution means replacing the characters, for example, Caesar cipher, and transposition means rearranging the letters, that is railpen cipher. Modern ciphers, that is AES and DEF algorithm, use both these techniques. With reference to network security across a packet switching network, which of the following provides the most effective solution? So here it is a combination of both link and end-to-end encryption. So end-to-end encryption means it only sender and receiver can decrypt the data, whereas the link encryption encrypts data only between the network devices. Consider the sequence of steps involved in the process of using digital signatures for a message in pretty good privacy. Which of the following steps is wrongly presented? So that is the hash code is preprinted to the message and sent to the receiver. Which of the following is a secret key encryption algorithm? That is AES algorithm. So AES is a symmetric encryption algorithm. Which of the following is not a type of firewall for network security? So answer is a digital immune system. Which of the following context-free grammars can't be simulated by a finite state machine? So answer is none of the above options. Which of the following is true for the language a power p where p is a prime number? So it is neither regular nor contextual but accepted by the Turing machine. Which of the following pairs have different expressive power? The answer is deterministic push-down automata and non-deterministic push-down automata has a different expressive power. The language L equals to 0 power I 21 power I where I greater than 0 is over the alphabet 0 1 comma 2 is. So it is a recursive and deterministic contextual language. Which of the following combinations of statements is true? So here answer is 1 and 4 is true. Which one of the following is a top-down parser? So correct answer is a recursive descent parser. Parsing is the process of analyzing the structure of code. Top-down parsing starts from the root and works downward. So here the recursive descent parser is a top-down parsing technique that uses the recursive functions to expand the grammar rules. Whereas the operator precedence parsers LR of K parser, LALR of K parser is a bottom-up parser. So that means it works from leaf to the root. In bottom-up evaluation, inherited attributes can be. So it can be evaluated only if the definition is L attributed. Syntax-directed definitions help in syntax analysis. Inherited attributes get values from parent nodes, making them complex in bottom-up parsing. If synthesized attributes exist, inherited attributes can be evaluated in a bottom-up parsing. Which one of the following is true at any valid state in shift-reduce parsing? So here the answer is this: the stack contains only a set of viable prefixes. Viable prefixes are valid prefixes of right-hand side derivations. So next question. So given a SQL query here, to create view average salary by age, select E.IED EID average of e-salary from employee E group by E.age. So here the correct answer is none of the given options is correct. Next one. Consider a schedule generated by the execution of several SQL transactions, each of which has a read-only access mode. Which of the following is guaranteed? So here the correct answer is serializable. Serializability ensures that transactions execute in an order that produces the same result as some serial execution. Next. For database relation R of A, B, C, D, where the domains of A, B, C and D only include atomic values, only the functional dependency and those that can be inferred from the hold A to C, B to D, the relation is in. So the relation is in first normal form but not in second normal form. First normal form ensures that all attributes contain atomic values, whereas the second normal form removes the partial dependencies. So since here C depends on A, so here the C is depending on A and C depends on A and D depends on B. So here the partial dependencies exist, making it only first normal form. Next. Consider the relation R shown in the below figure. So we have to list all the functional dependencies that this relation instance satisfies. So here Z implies Y. So here based on the given functional dependencies, so the Z to Y and X to Y that leads to XZ tend to Y. So this is the correct functional dependency. Functional dependencies define relationship between the attributes. So next question, the following example is in. So we have given the set of transactions here and we have to find out whether it is a serializable schedule or not. So here we have to find out the conflict operations here. So here T1 read of X and T2 write of X are conflicting operations because both access X at least one is a write. And here similarly T2 read of X and T1 write of X is conflicting operations because both access the variable X, at least one is a write. So here we can draw the precedence graph here. So that is for T1 read of X to T2, T1 to T2, and then for this one T2 read of X and T1 write of X. So we have another precedence graph. So here the precedence graph has a cycle, which means the schedule is not serializable. And how can we find out whether it is strict or not? The schedule is strict if for any write operation W of X and any read or write operation, read of X or write of X, if read of X or write of X comes after the read or write comes after write in the schedule, then the commit on the transaction that performed must come before read or write. Here if we check, T2 write occurs before the T1 and T2 commit occurs before the T1. So therefore the condition for strictness is satisfied and the schedule is strict. So therefore the answer is it is not serializable schedule, but it is a strict one. A 3NF table without multiple overlapping candidate keys is said to be in. So it is said to be in BCNF form. BCNF is a stronger version of a third normal form. It removes the redundancy by ensuring no partial or transitive dependencies exist. A table in third normal form that has no overlapping candidate keys is automatically in BCNF. So given the JavaScript code here, so we have to get the answer for this given script. So here the answer is a pass. So based on the ternary condition given here for variable b, it checks the condition a equals to 80. Since a is 80 here, the value assigned to b is pass. So the document.write b will print the pass to the screen. So which of the following is the alternate to JavaScript? So JavaScript alternate is VBScript. VBScript was an alternate to JavaScript used for scripting in Internet Explorer, whereas the ASP.NET and JSP are server-side technologies. When destroy method of servlet gets called, so it is none of the above options. So Java servlet has a lifecycle of initial, service and destroy. Which of the following way can be used to keep track of previous client requests? So here the correct answer is all of the given options. So to maintain session tracking, we can use cookies, hidden form fields, URL rewriting. Cookies are small text files stored on the client's browser, whereas the hidden form fields are data stored in forms that persist across the request, whereas the URL rewriting means attaching session ID in the URL. For XML document to be valid, it needs to be well formed and document need to be validated against a DTD. So well formed XML means it follows syntax rule, that is proper tags and nesting etc. And valid XML, it must be well formed and must follow a document type definition or XML schema. Which of the following is the instructs the browser which style sheet to use? So here the correct answer is option 3. So the XML style sheet type equals to text XSL, H reference cd.xsl. So here this directive links the An XML document to an XSL, Extendable Style Language file for styling. The correct syntax is the option 3. The values get, post or specified in dash of HTTP message. It is specified in the request line of the message. Post request send data in the request body, but it is indicated in the request line. Which is the mouse out event file. So here the answer is when the mouse is over an element. Mouse out event triggers when the mouse pointer leaves an element area. It is commonly used to change styles, hide elements, or update user interface dynamically. NFS server is a stateless server and one whose architecture uses a virtual file system layer. NFS, that is Network File System, is stateless, meaning it doesn't retain session information. The VFS, that is a Virtual File System layer, allows interaction with different file systems. Next, stateless server means a stateless server doesn't retain client session information between requests. Every request from the client is treated as a new and independent request. HTTP servers are stateless, they do not remember previous client interactions. So option 3 is the correct answer. In a distributed system, location transparency implies. So location transparency means that users can access the resource without knowing their actual location. This feature is important in cloud computing and network file systems. So here the option 1 is the correct answer. In group communication involving n members, group addressing users. So group addressing users, many use any of the given options. That means you can use unicast, multicast or broadcast. Unicast message sent to a single receiver, whereas in multicast message sent to a selected group. In broadcast message sent to all users in the network. So group communication can be used any of these methods based on the need. The inherent limitation of distributed systems is it is absence of shared memory. Triple modular redundancy for fault tolerance is characterized by. So each device is replicated 3 times. That is called as a triple modular redundancy, where every critical component is replicated. Unique semantics for shared file access are characterized by. Every operation on a file is instantly visible to all processes. So in Unix file system, changes to a shared file are immediately visible to all processes. There is no delay or buffering, making it ideal for concurrent access but requiring proper synchronization. Which of the following is not a characteristic of data collection in data warehouse? So it is a volatile. So characteristics of a data warehouse are subject-oriented, integrated, time-variant, not volatile, and non-volatile, not volatile. Which of the following is an interestingness metric used for data characterization? So it is the typicality weight. The Euclidean distance between the pair of data points x and y, where x equals to 0.2, 0.5, 0 and 0.6, and y equals to 0.4, 0.3, 0.1, 0.6 is. So for this one, we have to apply the formula here. That is b equals to root of x1 minus y1 whole square plus x2 minus y2 whole square plus x3 minus y3 whole square. So if you apply this formula for the given data points, so you will get the values. So the correct answer is 0.3. Consider a four-dimensional data set with attributes A, B, C, D that described in terms of 10, 4, 50, 20 distinct values respectively, assuming that each cell occupies 2 bytes of memory. What is the total memory space required to materialize all possible 3D cuboids of the data set? So here the correct answer is 36,000 bytes. The number of 3D cuboids is equals to product of 3 attributed values. So what is the product of 3 attributed values here? So 10 into 4 into 50 into 20. Okay. So each cell takes 2 bytes. So total memory equals to 2000 into, so 2000 is the multiplication of the 10 and 450. Right, first 3 ones into 20 into 2. So here the answer is 36,000 bytes. It is not given in the option. Consider an attribute whose value is 48 in a range of 18 to 98. What is its equivalent value in -1 to +1 scale using min-max normalization? So the min-max normalization formula is x minus minimum of x by maximum of x minus minimum of x into new max minus new minimum plus new minimum value. So here we have to substitute the given values. So x value is 48 here minus minimum value is 8. So 48 minus 18. 18 by 98 minus 18. The minimum value is 18, right? From 18 to 98. Plus 1 minus of minus 1 plus minus 1. So these are the values. Okay. So if you apply substitute these values, you will get the correct answer. That is option. The correct answer we get is minus 0.25. Which of the following metrics is used for building decision tree classifiers from the training set of examples? So here the correct answer is information gain. Which of the following estimates are represented in the box plot of an attribute? So it is min-max quartiles Q1, Q2 and Q3. A box plot is a graphical representation of data distribution. It shows the minimum value, maximum value and 3 quartiles Q1, Q2, Q3. Next one. Which of the following clustering algorithms is applicable for grouping nearly 1000 data points into 10 mutually exclusive clusters? So correct answer is K-means clustering. K-means is fast and efficient for large datasets. It partitions data into K clusters based on the nearest centroid. Which of the following activation functions is applied for hidden and output layer neurons for building a backpropagation classifier using neural network? The correct answer is sigmoid function. Sigmoid function is commonly used in hidden layers and output layers for classification tasks. It covers any input value in a range 0 and 1. If T consists of 5 lakh transactions, 20,000 transactions contain bread, 30,000 transactions contain jam, and 10,000 transactions contain both bread and jam, then the support of bread and jam is. So here we have for support we have the formula, that is the transactions containing item set. So transactions containing the item set, that is both item set by the total number of transactions. Total number of transactions. So here we are containing both the bread and the jam. Okay. So that is the 10,000 by 5 lakhs into 100. So here if you apply the, so we have the 1 by 50 into 100, that is 2%. So here the formula is the transactions containing item set by total transactions into 100. The last question. Consider the performance of a binary classifier on a test set containing 1100 positive and 700 negative examples. The components of the confusion matrix in terms of TP, FN, FP and TN are given respectively. What is the approximate value of the classifier accuracy? So here the formula for accuracy equals to, so we will write down the formula here. So accuracy equals to TP plus TN by TP plus TN plus FP plus TN. So FP plus FN into 100. So values are 700 plus 400 by 700 plus 400 plus 200 plus 500 into 100. So here the values are 1100 by 1800 into 100. Okay. So now if you substitute the values here, the answer is 65%. The answer is 65%. So the nearby answer is 66%. That's why first one is the correct answer. So these are the remaining 75 questions in the part 2. I hope you all understand this video and it is helpful for you. Thanks for watching the video.